Okay, all right, okay, you set, Dave?
I am.
Okay. All right, welcome to the regular meeting of the City of Bethlehem Zoning Board. My name is Jessica Lee, and I'll be serving as your chairman. Serving tonight with me are voting members, Carol Ritter, who is an alternate but will be voting this evening, and Dr. Paige Van Wert. To my right is our solicitor, Attorney Steve Boel, our zoning officer, Dave Taylor, and our stenographer is Moira Evans. Now, if anyone has testimony, is going to be a witness, questions, comments, would you please stand so you could be sworn in, please?
That's for all hearings, please. If you're going to talk tonight on any of the hearings, please stand
If
up.
you have anything to say, stand up and raise your right hand.
Yep, raise your right hands. You do swear or affirm that the testimony which you shall give in the matter now before this board shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You do so swear or affirm? Yes?
Okay, thank you. Okay, our first case will be that of 1139 East 3rd Street. And if Dave would read the appeal, please.
It's the appeal of Pedro and Lucy R. Ramos for a special exception to increase the total building floor area of an existing non-conforming 3-story or 3.5-story, 2-family semi-detached dwelling. A variance to expand a non-conforming full or half upper story, sections 306.01A4, 1323.04A and B, 1323.04C, 1325.06, 1325.07, and all associated variances, special exceptions, and interpretations. And what did not make it into the advertisement as well, also as the applicant has also requested an interpretation worded as applicant is restoring a non-conforming structure use and believes the requested relief may not be required.
Okay. All right, can you tell us when the property was posted? Yellow card.
Like a week ago, I believe. Something
Yeah,
like
do-
that.
do- do us a favor. Can you bring the microphone closer to you? So I heard you say that you believe the property was posted 1 week ago?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, and please proceed.
Thank you. My name is Attorney Lisa Pereira. I'm here this evening on behalf of the applicant for the application of 1139 East 3rd Street. The property is located in the RT High Density Residential Zoning District, and this particular structure has been deemed a non-conforming structure by the city. I have one witness this evening, and with that, if I may continue with my calling him. You have no objections?
Yes, can you give us your name, please?
Yes, my name is Peter Ramos.
Okay,
And
thank
can
you.
you also provide your address for the record?
My address is 832 Ramblewood Drive, Easton, PA.
Mr. Ramos, can you also spell your name?
Yes, Peter Ramos, Ramos.
Thank you.
Actually, Ramos.
Mr. Ramos, can you please explain who owns this particular property?
Yeah, it's owned by my mother and father.
And where are they this evening?
They are in Puerto Rico for the next few months.
And Mr. Ramos, how are you familiar with this property?
I manage it and I do the construction for it
Can you?
for
Can
them.
you pull the mic? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, I manage the property and we do the construction for
Miss-
all their properties.
Mr. Boel, if you would need for the record a formal authorization to have that, we can certainly provide that.
Testimony sufficient.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Mr. Ramos, how long have your parents owned this particular property?
Probably from a long time, since the late 70s, I believe.
Okay. And since your family has owned this particular property, has it always been utilized as a 2-family rental?
Yes.
And aside from the property at 1139 East 3rd Street, do they own any other properties nearby?
Yes, the adjoining properties, 1141 and 1143.
Okay.
East 3rd.
And these particular properties, what happened approximately 3 years ago?
Yeah, there was a fire at 1141, which affected both properties on the right and left of it.
And since the fire occurred, 1139, the subject property of tonight's hearing, has that been vacant?
Yes.
Could you please explain to the board what you have been doing since the fire with respect to all the properties?
Yes, we've been cleaning them out. We've been obtaining permits, which we've received for 1141, 1143. So actually, they are almost complete. And I've been working on just getting this new permit for 1139, which taken a while because of trying to have issues with the architect and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, I have marked for the record an exhibit known as A1. Can you please explain to the board what is included in A1?
Yeah, this is basically permits from the beginning, applications to get permits.
Lisa,
Yes.
A1.
Yes, I'm sorry. A1 looks like this, yes.
Kind of just a timeline of kind of what we got going on here. We applied for we originally applied for the permit back in March, I think of 23, but oh, wait a minute here.
Prior to that,
Now, prior to that, let's see here. So basically, it's the permit applications. We have plans.
Essentially, the summary of the packet is it shows going back to the first entry of April 27th of 2022, you had been actively seeking permits for the dumpster and also you were seeking assistance from architects to develop the plans for the restoration of the property, as well as applying for various permits in order to start the renovations. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'd like to have you identify what is shown in the photographs that I have marked as Exhibit A2. If you could, can you please explain for the board what is shown on the first page of this photograph packet?
Yeah. So this is the facade of 1139 East 3rd Street. The front and the side. Well, the next picture will be the side, showing all the floors. Do you want me to keep going through?
Keep going through, yep.
So the third picture here is actually standing in the attic at 1141 East 3rd, looking through at 1139 East 3rd.
So the windows in the rear of that picture are actually the windows that you can see on the second picture up at the very top of the roof line. Is that correct?
Yes. So this is that same front room, actually standing in 1139, the next two pictures. And those are the two windows on the facade as well. So this is some temporary support we have.
And this is all existing floor area located at 1139. Is that correct?
Yes.
Then I would like to move on to what I have marked as applicant's Exhibit A3. If you could kindly explain to the board what is shown on the first page of that exhibit.
Lisa, I'm not sure ours are marked. So it's A3.
A3 are the plans, yes.
A3 are the plans.
Yeah, this is the side of the building.
And how many floors are shown on that?
So it would be the lower level, which I guess would be the basement, and then 3 other floors.
And then if we go to the second page, can you go through and explain what is shown?
Yeah, this is the plan view of each floor. The first floor, well, the lower level is just storage area, which is gets considered the basement. The first floor would be one apartment. And the second floor and third floor is an additional apartment.
Now-
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, we're just showing here the renovations we want to make to the third floor.
And as part of the attic floor plan that we are showing on the second page, the floor area that comprises what is shown here, is that all existing today?
Yes.
Are you planning to expand the building footprint at all?
No.
Going back to the first page of the plan set marked as Exhibit A3, can you explain to the board or try to show to them where exactly does the current roof line of the attic extend through if we go from the front of the building to the rear?
Yeah, probably that. I guess it would be maybe the dotted line here, kind of like. Do you see that first line down?
Are you referring
Kind of
to
on top of the windows
the,
there?
the windows on the top floor? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so currently,
So the roof line in the back is probably at that level.
so what are you proposing to do as shown in this picture?
So basically we wanted, being that we have to redo the whole roof in the back, we just wanted to build some walls and raise the roof to be even with the front roof.
So you, again, are not adding any building area. You are using the existing floor area of what is there now. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Correct.
And with respect to what the currently is, or what was used previously before the fire in the attic, was that just storage space?
Yeah, most just storage space.
So you essentially are not altering the use of the building or adding any additions to the structure. You are simply raising the roof line of the
Of
rear
the rear half,
portion.
correct.
I do not have any further questions at the moment from this witness. If the board has any questions as to what the proposal is.
Do you have any questions?
Yes. Will this be the first time you're renting it, or
No.
were people living in there before?
People haven't been living in there.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And where are they now?
No, they've been moved out.
Oh, okay.
It's vacant now, totally vacant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
We're just currently trying to renovate it.
Okay.
So you're seeking a dimensional variance to bring it up to from a non-conforming what are you seeking?
Lisa, why don't you walk through the relief step by step, the special exception, the variance, and the interpretation of the
Sure.
board?
So with respect to it, I guess we believe actually that we really don't need the relief. We, under the ordinance, there is a reference to a special exception needed to enlarge the non-conforming structure. But really what we are not proposing to enlarge the structure at all. We are utilizing the existing floor area that is there in the building now, and simply we are lifting the roof line up to essentially the same level as the existing roof line at the front of the building. So we're not expanding the footprint of the building. We're not adding another floor. We are literally just raising the roof line to match up what is currently there in the front of the building. So we believe that we actually don't even need relief because essentially there was no enlarging of the non-conforming structure.
So that the section on non-conforming structure says that if you're increasing the area of the structure,
Correct.
you must get a special exception.
Correct. And we don't believe we meet that in that we are not enlarging or expanding
The footprint.
the footprint of the building. Correct.
Yeah,
The floor area of the building.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
since you're going up, your
Yes,
position is that that is
exactly. And again, the area that is where the roof line is being raised currently is there. I mean, you could, I guess, technically stand in it, but it's not in, a comfortable area to stand in. But it does exist as a floor area, and it was utilized for storage.
So the first area of relief you're looking for is saying effectively the ordinance was not intended to capture an upward expansion.
You're exactly right. Yes.
As the floor area.
You're
Exactly.
kind of extending what's there.
Yeah, they're going up.
Up.
Yeah, we're just
Up, but
lifting
this
the
part, they're
roof, but we are
extending.
not expanding the footprint of the building, adding square footage or anything of
Right,
that nature.
right.
Exactly.
Understood.
So that was the special exception, and it also said, well, I'm just reading the zoning officer's comments, that the total
Sure.
building floor area requires, a special exception is required to increase the total building floor area by greater than 50%. So even if this was increasing the total building floor area, it's not by 50%.
That is correct. Yes.
So when I look at the plans, you've got storage area in the basement. Is that going to stay storage area?
Yes,
And then you have an independent apartment on the first floor,
yes,
and then you have an apartment on the second floor. So this would actually just be adding 3 bedrooms to the second floor apartment
correct.
because there's no kitchen or anything else. So it's not like you're adding another unit. You're just making the more bedrooms available for the second story unit.
That is correct.
And then I also read that there was an interpretation that a dimensional variance would be required because this is already non-conforming at 3.5-ish stories. And now that raising that roof line would actually make this fall under the definition of a 4-story building, so that a dimensional variance would be required. Is that correct?
That one, again, because of, if we're looking at the slope of the land, of the lot with respect to the basement, then yes, that we would be seeking a variance to permit the extension of the roof line to essentially make the half story
Uh-huh.
a full story. That is
Okay,
correct.
so you are seeking a dimensional variance. And then you also own the building right next door. That was the initial fire building.
Yes.
And the one next to that as well.
Yes,
We don't have a rear elevation of what those 3 structures look like. It does look like you've put dormers on those other 2 buildings, where this one did not have a dormer. So are you also going to be planning on expanding the rear roof lines of those 2 buildings as well in the future?
no,
Okay, just this building.
yes.
Okay. I think that's all my questions. Thank you.
Are you going to put a dormer on this one as well?
No, because I think we can probably use these windows and just put an egress on the side where these windows are. So we don't need a dormer.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, you have any questions?
Nothing.
That's it?
That's the
Yeah,
building. from
this
the-
is.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
Right. Anyone else? Any final comments? Oh, I'm sorry. Any questions from the audience? Any comments for this witness? Okay, now, final comments? Have anything?
Nothing additional to add, just simply, again, we believe that the intent of the section of the non-conforming section of the ordinance was envisioning an increase in the building footprint or the floor area. And we just believe in this particular instance, which is unique, since we are not adding anything beyond essentially lifting the roof. We believe that that particular section of the ordinance does not apply. And with respect to the dimensional variance for the increase or moving from the half story to a full story, we do believe that it is de minimis in that it's an already existing floor area. The area in question between the existing wall and what the new roof line would be is not significant, in that we're not adding it from the ground, the floor level all the way up. It's only going up, would you say, 2 to 3 feet? If that?
Yeah, probably like, exactly, like, yeah, 2 to 3
2 to
feet.
3 feet.
Exactly.
So we do believe that it is de minimis. It's certainly not going to alter the character of the neighborhood, or I would think be detrimental in any way. It is a residential building and it will remain a residential building. It's just giving some additional headspace for somebody utilizing that top floor.
Okay.
And Lisa, I just want to make sure. So the language I'm reading in the ordinance, it's 13, I don't know if you have it in front of you, 132304A.
Mhm.
And then where it starts, it says the total building floor area or total land area.
Yes.
And your position is floor area is footprint, not measurable floor area of each floor.
Exactly.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. All right, we'll go off the record.
Microphones
Oh,
are
I'm
on.
so sorry.
I do that all the time. It's always the
Time I
wrong
do it.
chair,
We should turn our names around, then we'd know.
so we know where we are. Okay, we'll go back on the record, please.
We are
Um,
back on.
So if the board has, the board has asked me to try and phrase a motion for their consideration. The board would like to make a motion to deny the interpretation, but to grant the special exception and the variance as requested.
Can I get a second, please?
No, well, you need to make a, I just
Okay.
stated it. I'm
You just
stating
said-
it.
all right,
So
I'd like to
Ma-
make the motion that attorney just
I stated.
stated.
State it. And a
Second,
second. Okay, Dave.
Carol,
Carol.
yes.
Dr. Van Wert,
Yes.
Yes.
Your relief has been granted. You'll get a written decision within 45 days.
Thank you all very much and
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
But the record reflect you said 30 minutes.
Are we okay? We are
Oh,
not. Look
she's
at
the-
that.
She's
You're
the,
going a little too
including
fast
that, I
for
think it's 2
us-
minutes to
for
figure out how to use the
ourselves
YouTube.
We do
We don't
appreciate
even know
that.
what we're saying. Okay, application
You did a good job. You're doing awesome.
1139, all this kids.
Now we're
No,
doing
that's what I need this for.
408.
1322.
Now we're gonna move to. Okay, our next appeal will be that 408 Wyandotte Street.
That's what I need it for.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
How are you? May I approach to hand out an exhibit?
Oh, please come on up, please.
Thing for 408.
And then grab a seat. He has to make a, we have to have him read something.
408 Wyandotte.
Yeah, I'm-
Just, I'm sorry.
thank you.
What are
Thanks.
you asking me? I'm sorry.
If you, this application, I
Uh-huh.
don't seem to have that 408.
What do you feel like you're missing?
The application itself.
oh, it's in that binder.
It's inside.
One of the, oh, it's in the
In
binder.
here.
Okay,
Binder.
got it. Thank you.
Sorry, we should have broken it out.
That's okay.
Okay.
I felt bad disrupting such a nice presentation.
It's okay. As long as it's in
Sorry.
here.
Okay, can you tell us when the property was posted?
Yes, December 5th
Yes.
of 2024.
Okay,
Sir, just do us a favor, pull that microphone a little bit closer to you.
Sure
That's not a
thing.
you thing, that's everyone. And then,
okay, Dave, if you would read the appeal, please, for
That's-
us.
It's the appeal of Ravana Odin and Taj Blunt Odin for a special exception to permit a bed and breakfast in the RT zoning district, sections 1304.01 B1, 1322.03 G, and all associated variances, special exceptions, and interpretations.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you may proceed, please.
Yes, good evening. My name is Ravonda Odin. I am the co-owner of 408 Wyandotte with my son.
I'm Taj Blount Odin.
can you just do, but just spell your name for the stenographer?
Sure thing. Taj, T-A-J. Last name is Blount, B-L-O-U-N-T hyphen Odin, O-D-E-N.
Ravonda, R-A-V-O-N-D-A. Odin, O-D-E-N.
So just one thing so you know ahead of time, just because she has to create a record.
Mhm.
What the way we like the way we like it to work is that if you can say whoever wants to go first, testify, speak your piece relative to it, and then the second person kind of acts as a separate witness. So it's
Okay.
not tag team, it's
Okay,
relay.
gotcha.
One at a time.
One at
Okay.
a time. Okay. I'll begin.
Okay.
So 48 Wyandotte Street is a property that we would like to turn into an Airbnb. I'm recently retired. I live in the home, and we're excited for my new part of my retirement here. We found this property or discovered this property on Wyandotte Street and felt that it was a perfect opportunity to, well, it started out as a student housing, and the ordinance has changed. And so we had to figure out what we're going to do with the property, and we didn't want to sell it. We just put a lot of love and sweat into it and felt that it would be a perfect opportunity to just share this with the city of Bethlehem and the people who come and go throughout the city of Bethlehem. We've done some work to really try to enhance it, but I wanted to share with you firstly some, basic facts about the property. We purchased it in 2019, 5 years ago, my son and I. Uh, it has it was built around 1900, or early 1900s. It has about 44 square foot of the lot from front to back and side to side. It also has a square foot of the imprint within the house itself at 3,080 square feet. We also have in this property 8 large bedrooms, 8 large rooms, including living rooms, kitchen, 2 bathrooms as well. I would like to also share what my son already shared, Exhibit A, which shows, not to scale, a site plan that we got from the city. However, I just kind of sketched in the layout behind the house to show you that there are two-car garages that are present, that clearly will hold 4 cars, and the driveway itself has a length of about that could hold another 4 additional cars. It's a lot of space around the side of the house. It is semi-detached. It is completely detached. I'm sorry, but we just feel that we know that with parking will not be a problem with infringing on the community, and making sure that it's not an issue with any of our neighbors who are residents in the community as well. We are very neighborly with our neighbors on both sides of us. They are tenants, and we do feel that we are very much happy being here. Meet myself, newly moved in November here to Bethlehem. So really looking forward and very excited to be a part of the community here in Bethlehem. We also want to share too that with the Airbnb and my background in interior design, I have interior design background from Syracuse University. Although I'm recently retired as an educator, I feel that this is really a passion of mine. And it was something that I really felt that I really like to tap into in this new phase of my retirement. We know that when we first saw this property, it has such solid bones. It was in a growing community. My son is an alumni of Lehigh University. So he has a lot of connections to the community as well as to the property itself. And we just really want to make this a really opportunity for families to come to the area, whether they are attending any events in the community, whether it's at the university. There are lots of wonderful things that are happening in beautiful churches in the community as well. So whether it's for religious purposes, whether it's for music fest or any fun event that's happening here, culturally, Bethlehem has a lot to offer. And we just felt that it was an opportunity to make 48 Wyandotte Street a home away from home. We felt that with our time here and the years that he was a student here at Lehigh, that we didn't want to leave the community. So we thought it was a great opportunity to just invest and continue to invest in the community here. We do have another property that's not far from there, that's for student housing, and we just really looking to just beautify it. And we know that a home that was built in the early 1900s, and if you look at some of the pictures as you roll through to your document, you will see that a lot of care and attention has been presented so that anyone who comes into the space will see that a lot of care and attention has been provided for them. We basically want to keep the space open. There was nothing structurally changed. Originally, all the rooms were currently as they are. We refinished and resurfaced areas to make it up to date and current for anyone to come into the space. You see there's a back staircase, there's a main staircase, and there's also a back staircase to cycle through the home. Each of the bedrooms do provide a really zen and a home feel, a comfortable and calm feel. The colors were very natural and neutral, many earth tones, so that everyone can kind of feel like they're not personally engaging in a space that's my space, but a space that they can call their own. And I think one of the last pictures, there are 3 floors. on the first floor, you have one bedroom, a kitchen, and an office space. The second floor, we have 3 bedrooms, a full bathroom as well, and a full bathroom on the ground floor, and a transitional living room. And then on the third floor is an additional 2 bedrooms that will be rented or used as Airbnb. And then, of course, my bedroom is on the third floor.
Absolutely.
So ma'am, I mean, so now the board will have the opportunity to ask you questions, but I want to get ahead of something for the board.
Sure.
So the relief you're seeking tonight is what's called a special exception, and the zoning officer may have explained this to you before. And there's actually case law in Pennsylvania that says a special exception is neither special nor an exception. It means you're proposing something that's allowed there, but that you have to prove certain things required by the ordinance.
Yes.
And again, if your son's going to testify to this, I can stop.
Mhm.
But I'd like to go through those things. I mean, if you want to answer them, you want to defer to your son, you can. But I thought for the board's benefit, because a lot of them you've already kind of touched on.
Okay.
So the first one for a bed and breakfast is that not more than 5 rooms may be offered for rent on a residential property. So that sounds like that's the case here, correct?
Correct.
Number 2 is the bed and breakfast must be in an existing structure
Mhm.
and not a new structure or outbuilding. Clearly, you said this is an existing structure that you've given a lot of love to.
Yes.
Number 3 is in a residential district, the only meal to be served is breakfast, and the lodgers of the bed and breakfast exclusively. So you'll make breakfast available. You're not gonna serve third parties who come onto the property. You're gonna make breakfast available to them. Is that
Absolutely.
correct?
Yes.
Good. Number 4 is that signage will conform with section 132008 of the zoning ordinance. Are you proposing any signs on the house for the Airbnb
In the house,
or on the outside? On the outside.
we hadn't planned to do that because we know that that is something that we know it's important for everybody to know where the address is for 8 Wyandotte Street. We haven't coined a name for sure. We did put Zen House as the name that we might go with, but we're kind of still into conversation with what that would be. But at some point, we would like to definitely put a sign in front to show that.
Yeah, and all this requirement is saying that if you put a sign, you're
Mhm.
gonna talk to the zoning officer, you'll get all of your permits,
Mhm.
and it'll be a sign as allowed under that zoning district.
Yes. Yes.
No exterior structural alterations to the building shall be made except as necessary for sanitation, accessibility. Are you doing anything else to the exterior of the house?
No.
Good.
No.
Bed and breakfast must meet all city requirements for health, safety, fire, and building safety. You'll
Yes.
comply with all those requirements.
Yes. Yes.
The bed and breakfast must operate for a minimum of 6 months per year. You're going to use this continuously as bed and breakfast.
Yes.
And the maximum length of uninterrupted stay shall be 14 days. So
Correct.
no one's going to stay beyond 14
That's
days.
right. Mhm.
There's also a few more requirements in the back of the ordinance. These are called the general ones.
Mhm.
These are the ones that kind of apply to everything, every special exception. Number 1 is that you feel that this is that this is consistent with the city's ordinances and consistent with the spirit and purpose and intent of the zoning ordinance. As much as any human being can testify about the spirit and intent of a zoning
Mhm.
ordinance, do you feel that that's the case?
Yes.
That you think that this is in the best interest of Bethlehem, the convenience of the community, and the public health and safety and welfare?
Yes.
That it is suitable for the property in question, and that it's designed, constructed, and operated so as to be in harmony with the neighboring properties.
Yes.
That's in conformance with all other sections of the ordinance.
Yes.
That it will not substantially change the character of any surrounding residential neighborhood, and that the way it will be operated will be consistent with residential uses.
Yes.
That it'll be suitable in terms of traffic safety and with sidewalks and accessibility.
Yes.
You testified about the parking spaces and garage and those
Yes.
things.
Mhm.
This one, and I'm sorry, we all chuckle when we read this one. The proposed use shall not create a significant hazard to public health, safety, and welfare with regard to fire, toxic substance, or explosive materials.
No, we will not.
It's good to hear that. I mean,
Absolutely not.
if I saw that if I saw that on my Airbnb, I would have been upset.
Right.
And that the proposed use is suitable for the site, considering you're not going to disturb any sensitive environmental features. It's an
Right.
existing house.
Correct.
So, with the board's
Okay.
benefit, those are the requirements of the ordinance.
Okay.
I have none.
Doctor?
So is there anyone living in the house now?
No. Other than myself, no tenants other than myself.
Okay. And there's 5 bedrooms with 4 parking spots. You're going to reserve all of those parking spots for the B&B use
Correct.
exclusively?
Yes.
Okay, so they won't be rented out to anyone else?
No.
Okay.
No.
And I think I'm just trying, I'm reaching back in some other civic knowledge, but is it only in the historic district that the owner has to be present in the B&B?
No, I believe it's part of the ordinance, the B&B ordinance, right in the language that it has
But I
to
mean,
be
the owner
owner
has to,
Okay.
okay. And so that is going to be the case here?
Yes. Yes.
You're going to keep living in the house?
Yes, I live there currently.
Okay, and you're not going to be moving out? You're always going to be spending the night in the house when you have the guests there?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, because I didn't see that as part of this ordinance, but it is in there. I just didn't.
So, Dr. Van Wert, I
Yeah.
mean,
It's in the definitions.
I just didn't go to the definition.
you nailed the other requirement,
Okay.
which is, and I should ask, but the testimony supports it, is 1302.12 is the definition of a bed and breakfast.
Uh-huh.
A single-family detached dwelling which may provide overnight lodging and serve breakfast to transient guests, and which requires the owner
Okay.
to reside in the dwelling. So you're exactly correct that
That's right.
she would need to reside,
Right.
her or the owner ultimately,
Okay.
if you sold it to your son or however you want to operate it.
Right.
The owner must reside on the property.
Okay.
I missed that initially also. Craig pointed it out to me.
Okay, good. Well, there's been a lot of conversations about non-owner occupied Airbnbs, particularly in the historic district, and the lack of having that owner in the house really impacts the quality of life. And in this neighborhood too, I can imagine it would still impact it because these homes are generally rented out by wedding parties and other people who are loud sometimes, and having the owner be in the house is integral to it being successfully integrated in the community. The only other thing I will say, well, I'm not constitutionally against Airbnbs. They have made a huge impact on the cost of housing in many cities across America, including places like us where people want to come into town and during a certain amount of time. And there is a good financial reason for people who want to turn their homes into Airbnbs, but it actually ends up increasing rents for everyone else because it reduces the amount of long-term housing that's available. I don't think that in and of itself in this neighborhood is outweighs the benefits of the investment that you're making. But I did want to point that out, that it's always a consideration when we are taking a home out of full family living and putting it in the short-term rental market. It impacts the city in a negative way. But I also appreciate your investment in the city and what you're trying to do here. So thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you.
I just have a question about the traffic. Are you going to have any kind of markings on the driveway? I know it's a high traffic area because I live like up on Cherokee Street.
Mm-hmm.
So this is at Wyandotte and 4th, the
Yes.
corner. And it's
Busy.
people come flying down 378 past this area. I was just wondering if you're going to put some kind of yield or something for your driveway to warn your tenants they don't get picked off.
Yeah, it definitely is a high traffic with trucks and buses and lots of traffic moving in both directions. I think signage would definitely be really something important to have so that everyone can be forewarned to just be mindful,
I'm just asking, maybe the
Yes.
city may require that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, looking where that driveway is, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
I have a question. Is it an ordinance or a permit to potentially paint like some yellow lines or something on our property, not on the sidewalk, to kind of highlight that?
So ultimately, that's kind of the question I was just asking the zoning officer. So what will happen is if you get your relief tonight, and I mean that the board will need to vote to grant it, this will go through review by the city engineer. And the city engineer will look at it in terms of the other ordinances, not just the zoning ordinance, but things like traffic safety and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they may make recommendations on things that have to happen, just like how the house may have to go through a code inspection,
Mm-hmm.
where they'll walk through and make sure that there's appropriate GFIs, smoke detectors, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It'll have to go through that further review process. However, what I would say is that if the board, one of the things with the special exception is that the board has the power to levy conditions on the grant of the special exception. So if the board was so inclined and the board had a specific concern, the board could grant as a condition of the variance a requirement that signage or some other marking to be approved by the city could be at the exit of that driveway to ensure that public safety is protected. So to explain it, yes, you'll have to go through that. If the board has a specific concern, you can always address that in a condition.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, any more questions from anyone? Any questions from the audience for this property, this witness?
We never let you testify, by the way, did you? She did a great job.
No,
He asked the question.
Yeah, that's right. So,
I mean, I would love to speak my piece, but I don't need to add anything. If she did a great job, so
the man who taught me zoning law once said no when to sit down, and
exactly.
yeah.
Okay, if there's no more comments, we'll go off the record and deliberate and return shortly.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know. Right?
record. And
Would the board like to make a motion, or would the board like me to propose a motion?
So moved.
Oh, no.
You can make a motion.
If I could,
I thought you
if
were
I could, if I could, word a motion for the board, it would be to grant the special exception or relief as stated in the public notice.
I make a motion to grant what the attorney just said.
As stated.
I second it.
As stated.
Okay, moving right along.
Ms. Ritter,
Yes.
Dr. Van Wert,
Yes.
Ms. Lee.
Yes.
So congratulations, your relief has been granted. You'll get a written decision in the mail within 45 days. You can reach out to the zoning officer about the next steps.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The agenda.
Yes, she has 45
Oh,
minutes.
dude, I think yours. I'm taking yours, bud.
Okay, the next appeal is 1008 North New Street. And when you sit down, you can tell us when the property was posted?
Monday, December 9th.
Okay, thank you. Dave, would you read the?
It's the appeal of Keegan and Mary Rose Hillier. I hope I said that right, for a dimensional variance to permit expansion along an existing non-conforming setback with less than the required 3-foot absolute side yard setback required in the RT zoning district. Sections 1306.01A4, 1323.04D5, and 1325.06, and all associated variances, special exceptions, and interpretations.
Okay, if you would please state your name and spell it for the stenographer, please.
Sure. My name is Mary Rose Hilaire. Mary Rose is 2 words. Maryrose. Hilaire, Hilaire.
And I'm Kegan Hilaire, Kegan Hilaire.
Okay, thank you. Whoever's going to
I'll
go
do-
first,
yeah.
please.
Yep. So my husband Kegan and I live and own at the property, 1008 North New Street. So as you can see from the Google Maps, it is a single detached home. Our closest cross street is Fairview. So our neighbor to the north is also a single detached home, but the rest of the houses on the block are doubles. We have a 3-story brick home, and then in the back, there's a single-story addition to the original brick home. The addition was some point years and years ago. It is not a new addition in any stretch of the imagination. And it's kind of in an L shape where the kitchen is a galley kitchen. That's the width of the brick house. And then there's a little cutout that has a mudroom and a bathroom. So if you see in our pictures, in the first picture there, that red box is where we are talking about squaring off, proposing to square off the home. When we purchased the home in May of 2020, and we quickly realized in that first winter that there were major problems in the back of the house. It was extremely cold comparatively to the rest of the house. And the pipes were freezing in both the kitchen and the bathroom. So we always had to leave the water running. And then in June of this year, our microwave stopped working, and we assumed it was because of the age of the microwave. But then late one night, luckily my husband was still up because the stove started sparking. So he quickly could cut off power to the stove. And when we pulled it out, the outlet was sitting in water. And then when we pulled it out, the cabinet next to it collapsed. So we realized that cabinet was completely saturated with water. There was mold everywhere. When we took out the microwave, we realized that the addition was coming off of the brick wall. So there was about a 6-inch gap on both sides at the roof line, and water was just pouring into the house. So we have to take the addition that is there down for structural integrity. We have a 5-year-old son, so finding mold in the kitchen was not fun. So that's what we want to do is we are proposing squaring off and building a new addition where that Bilco door is. And then we need to keep the Bilco door because we have no other egress from the basement. So we would then build a new Bilco door out. You can kind of see in the first picture, it'll kind of end up where the table is. So it's about another 8 feet along the property line. And in that 8-foot wall, we're not proposing to put any windows to keep privacy between us and the neighbors. And we're going to do, the building code officer wants us to have that to be extra fireproofed as well. So the property is only 25 feet wide and our house is about 18 feet wide. And there's about 6.5 feet to our south neighbor. So we are inches from the property line on that side of the house. So that's what we're seeking the variance for. So I think that that's what I have, and we'll have comments or questions.
Questions?
Well, I'm sorry to hear what happened to you. I've had water in my basement. It's no fun. So are you going to be doing the construction or someone else?
We would have a contractor.
You're
Yeah.
going to have a contractor?
Yeah.
So it looks kind of tight there. Like,
Yes.
so
It
I'm
is.
assuming there's something special they need to, how do they get in there to do that, even to rip it down? Like,
I mean, so we still have, so our yard is very long. It's just very narrow. So we
Oh,
go
okay.
all the way to the alley where kind of Moravian's baseball fields are.
okay.
So we have off-street parking in the back of the house. So you can come through through the back and access the,
So it's bigger than it looks. is what you're
yeah, so
saying.
you can kind of tell. Yeah, so we go all the way to the, oh, and you can see there's
to
my
the
white
lawn.
car.
Okay.
Yeah, in the back there.
Backyard's about 100 feet long, I think.
Yeah, 100, 150. Yeah,
And when do you propose to start it?
as soon as possible. We haven't had a kitchen since June.
Oh my God.
A hot plate and an air fryer. Yeah.
I'm very good at cooking in an air fryer.
Frequenting a lot of Bethlehem restaurants.
Oh my goodness.
Heard.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
No, I don't have any.
I'm good. Have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Any questions from?
I'm just a support dad.
That's my emotional support dad.
We all need one of those.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
All right. Do you have any final comments for your
Nope.
project?
Wow.
Okay. With that being said, we will go off the record, deliberate, and we'll return.
Thank you.
Phones are on.
We'll go back on the record. And if I can get a motion from a member of the board, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance as in the application.
In a second, please.
Second?
Okay, Dave, if you would read the.
Ms. Ritter,
Yes.
Dr. Van Wert,
Yes.
Ms. Lee.
Yes.
So you'll receive a written decision within 45 days. You can reach out to the zoning officer in order to talk about the next steps. And we hope to get you a kitchen before long.
Hopefully, hopefully before
My
you.
word.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Have a good night.
Your emotional support dad did a great job.
Yeah.
And it's only 7:08.
You're not wrong.
Early?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Can I get a
Second.
second? Thank you.
Carry unanimous.
Carry unanimous.
Yes.
We are adjourned.